Alright guys, we're finally back in the brand new video. Today we're going to be scaling Anos Worldly God and we will find out if Reinhard versus Anos happens, who will win this battle. So to understand Anos powers, we need to scale him first. So without wasting any time, let's start scaling Anos verse. So their universe are endless in size and there are multiple more universes and they are all contained within a multiverse. And those multiverses are getting encompassed by the Silver Sea itself. That scale Silver Sea is somewhere around 6D or multiverse plus, or you can say low complex multiverse, depends on you. And then this scan shows absolute space, which is completely isolated from the world and normally impossible to interfere with, was broken. The sword explicitly stated to invalidate reason itself. Reason does not exist before this sword. It cuts thousands of gates simultaneously despite logical limitations. This demonstrates conceptual level negation of space-time, isolation, and reason-based mechanics. This again gives a nose feet of universe plus. You can say that, or low multiverse plus. Depends on you. Totally depends on you. The words also have the biases, which is qualitatively superior to the 99 layers, and there are even deeper, profound realms beyond it. Anos scales to this full cosmology that makes him that scales him somewhere around at least complex multiversal. I guess that would be the best scale of him. I don't know if he can scale higher than that. If anyone can, so just prove it to me. Not in my comment section, but in my Discord server. I will definitely cover it as well if that's true, because that's all I can find him about. That's all I could have find about him. And I'm pretty sure Anos doesn't have anything more than that. Now let's start scaling Reinhardt. Start with ReZero. ReZero cosmology can be interpreted as containing three fundamental layers. The first layer is what I'll call reality paint. This is the manifested world itself, the totality of all laws, concepts, causality, space-time, and all dimensional structures. The series is repeatedly treats concepts and laws components of reality rather than ultimate fundamentals. Authorities are described as destroying concepts and painting over the laws of the world, showing that these things can be altered. Because concepts, dimension, causality, and laws are all treated as part of manifested world, reality paint can be understood as complete structure of existence that ordinary beings inhabit. And the second layer was the canvas, sometimes described as colorless space upon which reality is painted. As it's stated in the scan, this canvas is not portrayed as physical location, a higher dimension, or a separate universe. Instead, it functions as the ontological framework that allows reality itself to be written. In this interpretation, the canvas exists prior to the concepts, laws, dimension, and causal structures that make up reality paint. Reality is painted onto the canvas rather than the canvas being contained within reality. You understand what I mean, right? I mean, canvas is not inside the reality but outside the reality. The distinction becomes important when examining authorities such as Pandora's. Pandora demonstrated direct manipulation of reality by rewriting events that have already occurred. After appearing that reality restructured itself to that never happened. We already saw this in the Rizero episode. When she declares that Regulus cannot be possibly be present, reality immediately adjusts to match that statement. His presence disappears, the effects of his action vanish, and like they never existed, and casually reorganize itself around the new outcome. According to Echidna, Pandora authority function through rewriting events themselves. We got another evidence of it. This plays her influence at the level of reality paint, affecting laws, concepts, outcome, and cause and effect relationship. And a fun fact, Regulus takes this even further. His authority is repeatedly described as liberation from all physical phenomena such as gravity, inertia, and air resistance, as it's stated in the novel itself. More importantly, it is stated he is liberated from every concept imaginable. In that sense, and that those bounds concepts are no match for him. If taken literally, this is in a statement implied that Regulus can exist independently of the conceptual framework governing ordinary existence. Rather than merely resisting concepts, he is portrayed as standing outside the limitation imposed by them. The cosmology becomes even more significant when considering Odd Laguna. The imagery of colorless canvas being painted suggests the existence of a painter distinct from the painting itself. Reality paint contains all dimensions, concepts, and laws, while the canvas serves as the medium upon which those things are written. Under this interpretation, Odd Laguna occupies the role of the painter rather than component of the painting. The painter is not inside the artwork again. the painter acts upon it from a superior position. This leads to the argument that all Laguna transcend the totality of all dimensions, conceptual reality, and represented by reality paint. The dragon sword reed is then argued to stand at its highest point in this hierarchy. Yes, I'm gonna upscale dragon sword reed as well, which will indirectly upscale Reinhardt as well. The sword is described as surviving circumstances involving the destruction or rewriting of the world itself. Since the world contains law, dimension, causality, and concepts, surviving the destruction of the framework suggests independence from it. The sword also remains unaffected by ability associated with conceptual negation. Regulus authority is described as transcending concepts, yet the sword remains withstand Yet the sword withstands him completely. This suggests that the world is not governed by the same conceptual framework that govern ordinary reality. When a dragon sword is drawn, the reality itself appears to react in the enemy. The world trembles and becomes unstable, implying that the sword existence places a strain on the structure of reality itself. Additional support is often drawn from the Obrero if story. There, Reinhardt reportedly shattered both Mususame and Masayume. One sword is said to cut the world itself, while the other one can cut beyond conventional logic and make dreams reality. If these descriptions are accepted at face value, then destroying such weapons will place the dragon sword above entities already capable of affecting world and its governing principle. Following the interpretation, the hierarchy becomes something like this: like reality, pain, the totality of all contains the totality of dimension, concepts, laws, and causality. Canvas is the pre-phenomenal media upon which reality paint is exists, and all Laguna the painter action acting upon the canvas rather than existing within the painting. You understand what I mean, right? I hope so. The dragon sword read a weapon that argued to stand beyond even the system that govern reality and capable of affecting entities that transcend ordinary concepts and laws. Under this scaling model, supports the conclude that Odd Laguna occupies an outerversal position relative to the reality bin, while a Dragonverse. So under this scaling model, everything I established supports the claim that Odd Laguna is outerversal. Now you may be saying, okay, you proved that Odd Laguna is outer, but how is Reinhardt outer? Well, Reinhardt is outer via Dragon Sword. Since Dragon Sword is the only weapon capable of shattering reality of Ray Zero Verse, and the feats I provided you are in the story like shaking the reality of the of Ray Zero Verse and like affecting Regulus authority and even is withstanding it, and it even aligns with the author's statement of Reinhardt versus Odd Laguna. And someone asked him that who will win in between if they fight, so author stated that Reinhardt wins. Since Reinhardt is outer, it automatically means that he demolishes Anos. So I was gonna use Satella scans, but then I thought no, I shouldn't use them. I already use them, and I'm gonna make them even better in the future scalings. So if you didn't like the video, make sure to do it. We find out that Reinhardt is actually winning this battle. So make sure to like, subscribe, and see you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.